strap in your socks and clench your butt cheeks because we're going on an adventure. Now, this adventure is, well, quite frankly, a very sad one. Okay? I just want to talk about, because I have to, I watched the Monsters documentary of Eric and Lyle Menendez the other day, and I just can't get this out of my head. Like, this story is just so insane, and watching the documentary on Netflix, it makes you really wonder what the heck happened that night, what made them do it, why did they do it. It's just, this documentary is so riveting, it's so bone-chilling, it's so sad, it tugs at your emotions. One moment you want to kind of almost cry. I caught myself almost being so ferociously mad that I wanted to tear up. And the reason for me being mad is because, well, in one of the episodes, episode 5, I'm not going to get into too many spoilers. I mean, I could talk about spoilers because this is a historical thing, so it's not really like I'm going to be spoiling anything. But episode 5, it's a one-take episode, beautifully shot. The camera is behind the interrogator. They're in the interrogation room in the jail, and they're interrogating, well, not necessarily interrogating, but the lawyer is asking Eric Menendez his side of the story. And the camera slowly is just zooming in on Eric's face. Okay? And this entire time, it's about a 30, maybe 20-minute episode, maybe somewhere around there. The entire time, he's talking about being sexually abused by his parents. Okay? And when you're sitting there, you're just getting angry and mad because he's talking about all the stuff that his dad allegedly had did to him. And a lot of these things, it's, putting objects in places that objects shouldn't be placed. And how he was just praying that when his dad was in this mood to do that to him, that it wasn't going to be anything rough, because the rough stuff just, it was rough, and it hurt, and it made him bleed, and it's just really, really bone chilling listening to his side of the story. Now, with that being said, on the other hand, the story falls apart very quickly. The first 4 or 5 episodes, you're a straight Eren Yeagerist, right? If you watched Attack on Titan and you go, because me, myself, I'm a Yeagerist. I watched Attack on Titan and I thought Eren did no wrong. Okay? I was with Eren. You kill everybody and you take over the world. I am with you on that. Okay? I don't think he did no wrong. I just don't. I think he showed what true justice was for the people of Eldian. Okay? All the Eldians and the people in that island. Right? Now, with that being said, this isn't an anime. This is real life. I got to take in consideration of all the sides of the stories here, okay? But the first 5 episodes, it hooks you and it makes you think. Well, the first 2 episodes, you go, why the hell did they do this? What is going on here? And then when you start realizing that their whole motive is that they killed their parents because they were being sexually abused since they were 6 years old, you start thinking to yourself, did they even do any wrong? Did their parents deserve what they got? Because, in my opinion, anybody who touches a child that way or PE a kid, you deserve the worst that happens to you, okay? If you hurt a kid in any way physically, right, you deserve to be physically hurt back. Now, I'm not going to say they deserve to die, technically, because I don't like, coming off with that kind of notion of people deserve to die. I don't really like saying that. But let me tell you what. I don't know if I would have held the same type of control as I am right now saying that. If that were me, right? If it were me, I probably would have done some crazy stuff too. But that's the whole point of this show, is that it hooks you and it makes you think that these boys did nothing wrong, and it really gets you. Okay, you're really on the side of the Menendez bros for a good 4 or 5 episodes. That is up until they go to jail and one of the brothers gets a girlfriend on the outside. Okay? this is where the whole master plan, if there was one, okay, because I don't want to say that the boys are lying, because I have no idea, but this is where the whole master plan falls to pieces, where people get a little bit too cocky and they think they're going to get away with things, so they start snitching on themselves. Now, this is a trending topic, to be honest, with people who get caught and people who you know, do crimes and they're getting away with it. They snitch on themselves. That's what happens. They get confident and they say what really happened, and it bites them in the ass. So now, this small needle on the camel's back broke the camel's back, right? And it's a small mess up. Lyle gets a girlfriend and he starts telling them, man, they bought it. I think we're gonna be set free. You know, even girls were crying, and the jury, you know, they looked at each other like, we got this. And he's saying all this, and it's all being recorded from his girlfriend. And so their first trial becomes a mistrial because the jury can't come to an agreement on if they're guilty or not. And, you know, that might just be God's plan, right? That just might be God's plan, because things work in mysterious ways, and for there to be a mistrial and for there to be another case after that, and now evidence has came out of Lyle saying this stuff on record, so now he cannot testify because they're going to ask him all these questions, and he's going to be totally made out to be looked guilty. Yeah, you know, it's one of those shows. It's just like the Jeffrey Dahmer show, very controversial, but you can't deny how good the show is. Like, you just can't deny it. And I love shows. I love watching something that's really good, that captures you. And to me, this is the best since Jeffrey Dahmer. And it's the same people who made the Jeffrey Dahmer show. It's the best serial killer documentary I've ever seen. It's better than Jeffrey Dahmer's, and I thought Jeffrey Dahmer's was the best I've ever seen. This show is the best you've ever seen, and I just want to say the actors who played Lyle and Eric, specifically the actor who played Eric Menendez, is a phenomenal actor. He gets your emotional strings playing, dude. He goes right to your heart, the way this man can set up his cries, the way this man can just cry mid-monologue and just have the face of a totally broken person, you know? And that's something that, you know, messed me up, because before this documentary came out, I actually watched the testimony of Eric Menendez in court giving his testimony, and watching that, man, that makes me just a pure raw emotion that man gave off tells me one of two things. One, that what he's saying is absolutely true because the feelings he feels. Right? Does that make sense? Seeing that raw emotion just makes me feel like that's genuine emotion. And now the other one of two things could also be true. This man is a psychopath. He's just a sociopath, and he's a great actor, because a lot of these guys who kill people and think they could get away with it, a lot of them are good actors. They're really good. They can cry on the spot, you know, and going through something like that, killing your parents, that gives you something to pull from, right? Like, even if you wanted to do it and you wanted to kill them, you doing that, it's such a traumatic thing. You could pull from that and cry and just lie. Right? And then there's one scene when it's Lyle's turn. He's being interrogated. They're pretty much practicing. It's like a practice trial. He's getting, you know, it's his practice testimony, and he goes, "Do you want me to cry? Because I can." And just the more Lyle is on camera, the more I believe that everything that they said is a lie. It was fabricated, and Lyle came up with all this, because it really shows, you know, all the main points, like the sexual molesting, the how they got away with it when they got there, this and that. Like, Lyle is like, he's kind of the one behind, not really behind, but driving the narrative of what had happened. Eric's kind of taking the backseat. If Eric messes up, Lyle goes, "What the fuck, man? We didn't plan on saying that. Why did you say that? Why didn't you confront me first before you did that or did this?" And then there's, you know, people coming out saying that they both told him kind of what had happened. And, you know, man, at the end of the day, part of me wants to believe them because part of me doesn't want to think that kids that have gone through something like that they would be lying, right? Just like if a woman came out and was like, oh man, this man touched me, did something to me, that and this, you don't want to say, oh no, I don't believe her, because then you look like a douchebag. And if you say, oh, I do believe her, you're on the righter side of justice. But then if that's wrongdoing to the man and he was actually innocent, then you're wrong. So you're just in a tough spot. So I don't really want to take a side. I just want to let you guys know the roller coaster of feelings I had watching this. Because at one moment I'm like, no, oh my God, these kids are insane. How could you do that to their parents? And then 3 episodes later, you're like, I'm Team Menendez. They did no wrong. I wish I was a part of that. I don't want to go too far. I'm gonna stop right there. But I'm just saying. Right? They get you hooked that hard where I was literally, episode 5, I was literally tearing up because of how much it touched home. Now, I was never sexually abused, but I know somebody very, very, very close to me that was by their parents. And their parent ended up killing themselves because of it later on in their life. Okay? And so watching that episode really, really got me going. And I just can't say enough how good this documentary is, and I really recommend everybody watch it if you like watching a good show. It's a good show. It's shot very well. It's like the way this show is shot is it's amazing. The cinematography is awesome. The soundtrack is surprisingly good for a Milli Vanilli soundtrack. Like it made me a Milli Vanilli fan, and I don't stand for what they did, but like I've been playing Milli Vanilli the past 2 days just because of this show. And to be honest, you don't know who to believe. You'll never hear the side of the story from the parents. So, that's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, if you guys want to watch something riveting and be on the edge of your seat the entire time, I highly, highly recommend Monsters on Netflix. It is the best crime documentary I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to get into today. I know this is a little bit of a longer video for a breakdown like this, but guys, as you can see, I'm excited to talk about this because how much emotion and how much of a roller coaster it was for me and my girlfriend to watch this. So anyway, yeah, that was all I wanted to talk about today. Yeah, peace out, guys.